It seems like the moment after the holidays are over and that first seed catalog arrives in your mailbox, we all get a little antsy to get out into the garden. And we are excited to be back with fresh new shows. And we're going to start off our show today by doing a project combined with planting some seeds out in the garden. Now, right now, this time of year, we have some really nice days followed by some really cold days. And so we're going to build a straw bale cold frame to help moderate those temperatures. You can see what our straw bale cold frame is going to look like. We've got to do a little bit of work here, so we're going to go ahead and tear this apart and prep our soil before we finish our cold frame. So we've got our bed prepped and we're ready to start planting our seeds. In this cold frame, we're going to plant some carrot seeds and some sugar snap peas. We want to put our peas on the north side because they're going to get a little bit taller than our carrots. The carrots that we have that we're going to plant are called a cosmic purple. We're going to plant those on about a 4-inch spacing. So we're going to kind of make a line here. We're going to do 2 rows down the middle of our irrigation and then 1 row on the outside of our irrigation. So carrot seeds are really quite small. So what we'll do is just kind of sprinkle those down the rows. Now before we do that, it's important to have good moisture around your seeds. So what I like to do is get a little potting soil and kind of sprinkle that down our rows here. We don't need a lot, but what this will do is just give us a little bit more moisture retention around our seeds. We're just going to kind of tap our seeds as we go down, following our potting soil. You can see how tiny these seeds are. Now, of course, when these start to germinate, we will need to thin them out so that they don't have as much competition between each seed, each plant as it grows. Now we wanted to use a little more potting soil just to cover those seeds. And traditionally what we think of as a rule for planting depth is 2.5 times the diameter of the seed. So considering how small carrot seeds are, we really are not going to cover them over that much at all. So this again will just help keep some of that moisture around those seeds once we water them in. And then we just kind of want to smooth them out as well, making sure that we have good seed to soil contact so that we don't have too much air exposure on those young seedlings as they germinate. You might have noticed our little bit of tinfoil on our drip irrigation, and this is just kind of a thing that we have figured out. Around our joints, these hard pieces of plastic, we have found that they tend to leak. And it looks like we've got some sort of rodent, whether it's a mouse or a squirrel, that likes to come in here and kind of chew on just these hard joint pieces. So we've done a lot of different things and we've actually found that tinfoil works the best. So that's why we've got some tinfoil wrapped around some of our drip irrigation. Down at this end, we're going to plant some sugar and snap peas, and we're going to put those on about the same spacing. Now, these peas are more of a bushy pea, so they're only going to get a couple of feet tall. And they don't really need trellising like some of your taller snap peas that we're going to plant in our keyhole a little bit later. These you can trellis if you want to. We don't plan on trellising ours. Really, the value of trellising these is just to help with harvesting a little bit better. But they are fine growing on their own. You can see that pea seeds, obviously, are a little bit larger. So we're going to plant these individually down our line here. We always want to make sure that we label our seeds. So we've got sugar and peas. And then also put the date of when we planted these so that we can kind of see when we're out there whether they should be coming up or not. So we've got our peas on the north side here, and we've got our carrots on the south side. Now, one of the other things I wanted to let you know is the reason why we planted our carrots in our traditional vegetable bed is because the soil has really been cultivated, and it's a nice loamy soil. Carrots are a taproot, and so of course they want to grow straight down. If you have clay soils or rocky soils, you might find that your carrots tend to fork a little bit or split. And in that case, you would want to use a raised bed or even a container garden to grow your carrots. If you just really want to grow your carrots in your rocky soil, look for a carrot cultivar that's a little bit shorter. Of course, it'll be shorter so it won't be growing too much into that soil. Now we just need to water these seeds. So now that we have our bed prepped, all we're going to do is roll our straw bales back into place and then put our window frames over our bed. So basically what we've constructed here is an insulated greenhouse, giving our temperatures a little more consistency for our plants. Now, as the temperatures start warming up and we start having more warm days than we do cooler days, we're going to need to vent these. This is why we used windows. You could use doors, but what I liked about windows in particular, if you put the inside of the window facing up, when we have those hot days, you can just open the window. If you have a door or a shower door that you want to use, you're going to have to prop that up somehow. And with our Oklahoma winds, that can be a little risky if it gets caught by the wind and blows off. We're going to put some wooden stakes just to kind of secure this in place. Now, because we've planted peas and carrots, the screen actually will serve as a nice way to keep those insects out. But peas and carrots don't need pollinators. They don't need insects to pollinate them. Peas are self-pollinating, and of course carrots were after the root, so it doesn't matter. If you were to plant something in here that needed insect pollinators to get that fruit, then of course you would want to take those screens off. As our peas continue to grow, they might grow a little bit too close to these, but by that time our temperatures will be warm and we'll go ahead and remove these frames. These frames we got for about $10 at our local rehab store, and it's a cheap and easy way to go ahead and get those seeds started in the garden a little bit sooner.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.